We've got every guys. Good morning, everyone. What's every guys? So I'm just waking up, still kind of tired. A little bit of bags under my eyes here. I was up kind of late last night, talking to people. So I want to talk about growing as a mother and having different tools in your toolbox. So I talked in my last couple videos about my son needing a good kick in the pants, which he did. No regrets there. But last night I had reached out to a couple friends to pray for me, a couple girlfriends, and they're like, yeah, definitely. Didn't really share any details, just pray for me. And then I had another friend I was talking to, and I also had done a class on trauma again last night. So we were talking about different triggers from last week that we were to process, and then we were talking about looking for the pattern in your life that is a big trigger in your life. And I already know what it is, and I've had a hard time figuring out why this is a trigger. Usually I'm pretty easygoing, loving, fun, joyful, happy, positive, energetic. This is me, right? Someone on an interview the other day said, I want to know you. Who is Melissa? And I'm like, you're kind of, what you see is what you get, but yet there is a lot behind me too. So I just said, this is who I am. I love life. I have a passion for learning. And I went into how I am. But there is a side of me that disrespect is a trigger. It's a trigger. And I said this last night. I'm like, so I can't seem to figure out why this is such a trigger in my life. And she's like, well, do a brain dump this week. Think of all the ways that you have felt disrespected. Look at those patterns, and we'll talk about it next week. And so I already know, but last night I was thinking about it some more, and I'm like, okay, where has it served you well, and where hasn't it? So where I've had family from the projects, being a brawler, that can definitely come out with me. Okay, I am tough. I don't regret it. There is some areas, it has served me very well, especially as a woman. So when my boyfriend took advantage of me, my first boyfriend, I had put the boundaries up, and I'm like, take me home, period, take me home. Into discussion, we were not talking anymore. One of the girls said too during her pregnancy last night that she couldn't go to her boyfriend and talk to him first because they were not on talking terms. Same thing, my mother was kind of taking over. I couldn't really, I should have been able to talk to him. We should have been able to work it out. But we were not on talking terms. So I thought about my second boyfriend, no brainer, right? He broke into my family's home. We're done. Once I found out the disloyalty of him and the loyalty I had, not only to, my best friend, but to myself, that he broke into her house too, we were done. My husband and I, we were dating, 88, we had an awesome dating time. I was always at his house, swimming in the pool, listening to Van Halen, we were going out. 89, we had a good dating time, and then he broke up with me because I wanted to go to college. So that was pretty rude, and I just kind of went on and said, I'm still going to college, and he came around, and then, what was it, 90, we were living together. He broke up with me. That was a big breakup, in my opinion, because we had lived together already. And I was pretty mad. I mean, I felt totally hurt, and I was ticked off. And I went from that, where he went off partying with his friends, and he's kind of doing this again. He went off partying. He went out and, just totally left me. And then I did not care anymore about myself. I was so hurt, I did not care. So I was dating other guys, and I went right through the relationships. So I had one guy disrespect me, done. I had another guy lie to my father, and then when he lied to me, done deal, right? Those are kind of like the disrespectful things that I was not willing to put up with, that served me well in life, served me very well, because I knew if I wasn't being treated right, we're done. Um, and then I had a really good friend. Well, she was a good friend, and then it turned out she wasn't the best friend. So I knew two of my best girlfriends since like second, third grade, same as my husband. And my mom liked this girl, but she had a lot of problems in her life. And so I would go over there and, we'd hang out and stuff. And one of the times when I was like, I must have been 18, 19, we were hanging out together. So this is a long-term friendship, right? And I had actually gotten drunk with her. And I trusted her, but this is my fault. This is not her fault. I trusted her because she was my friend, right? So we were out, and I went down. This is after my husband broke up with me, and I was hanging out with her more and her friends, and she had some sketchy friends. It wasn't a good thing. And, it was bad. I did not care. We were down in, Durham. That's where it was. I was trying to think this morning, where in the world was I? We were down in Durham, hanging out, starting, trouble, and I had this short skirt tiger shirt on, and I'm like taking off my shirt, and I didn't care, and I was drunk, and then something happened, and it was pretty bad, and I was just like, okay, we're done. So I never looked back on that. So I look at how, disrespect has served me that trigger. And then thinking back, like someone said, oh, yesterday on my thing, my comments here, oh, you're being like your parents with your son. No, no, not even close. I actually have taken tons of classes to turn myself around. I took parenting classes. I took mobs, I took Bible studies. I have a whole array of things I did to turn my life around. Financial classes, parenting classes as a teen, etc. So there was a lot of work done there. But last night I was thinking, yeah, my son definitely needed to be told off. He needed to hear it. He needed to be laid into. But as I was thinking last night, I'm like, okay, what can you change some more that's different than when your mother, basically was like, we had some friction. She was criticizing me. She's like, don't tell me, you're changing more diapers. Oh my goodness, you're having another kid, more diapers. And so she was very critical of my mothering, of me actually being a mother. And I was like, that's it. I've had it. I'm pregnant with number 5. I'm not putting up with this anymore. So I had said to her, you know what, I don't want to see you right now. And she had called me back, and I'm like, I'm busy. I said, not right now. Because I had to protect myself. I was pregnant. And I didn't want to, I have 4 little ones, and I didn't want to get worked up with number 5 and, possibly put, him at risk or me at risk for losing him or something. So I had to protect myself, and so that served me well. But the thing is, I was thinking of how nothing ever got resolved. Nothing. Nothing with my father, nothing with my mother, nothing. So I thought, Scripture says, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. So last night, this is just yesterday too, I had done a video on Proverbs, how it says, a harsh answer a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh answer stirs up strife. So I'm like, okay, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. You don't want to, you don't want to end it like this with your son. So I, as the mother, as the adult, more of an adult, took the initiative to say to him, last night I unblocked him, said, I love you, but I will not be tolerating disrespect. I will not be tolerating it. It's not acceptable. The emotional verbal anger that's modeled like your father is not acceptable. And I told him I love him, and then I used I statements. So you can't change other people, right? But you can change yourself. So I'm like, I still want a relationship with you. I love you and I want to be in relationship with you. love mom, something like that, right? So this morning, I get something that was disrespectful again. And this time, I thought, you're going to use a different tool. Yes, definitely last night he needed to be laid into, he needed to hear some truth, period. But so I am not going to respond to this. Now, last night when I was talking to a friend, he had taken the conversation, and he had turned it a certain way that kind of threw me off guard. So same thing here. I had hit a button that said, "Are you still there?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute, this is like totally off subject with, what we're talking about." And I'm like, "That's what you need to do. Turn it a different direction." So I'm like, I'm not going to respond to this, and that's because I'm respecting myself. When you carry yourself away, where you respect yourself, and I think back to that day of abortion, and I did respect myself, but I also had kicked myself for compromising what I knew better. Like I should have known better. I did feel tricked, but I had kicked myself for for second guessing my gut in breaking up with him. So back to respecting yourself. So I'm like, I'm not going to respond to this. I said, have a great day. Have a great day. I am not responding to this. And what that does is, and I had put in, what I was thinking too about how a soft answer turns away wrath. And this is where the family problems are with my whole entire family. Like, so I said, have a great day at the end, basically, right? And I left the ball in his court, and he can look at himself now. I'm not going to engage with disrespect. I'm just going to carry myself respectfully. So, I was thinking, why does disrespect bother me so much? And I think my trigger is I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to protect myself. I was disrespected with that whole abortion thing on many levels, many layers. I mean, my father, my mother, his mother, his sister, him. Just the disrespect, getting walked on. So those are my triggers. And that will be like, it's just someone walks on me. Boom. I've had a friend say, you got an edge to you, and I'm usually laid back, cool and chill, but that disrespect, um, so I'm like, where's it coming from? And this is what we talked about too last night, trying to get in there. And it's coming from feeling like I have to protect myself. The disrespect from the doctors, the disrespect of just killing my baby right in front of me, right? So, so I was able to get through that and see it and be like, okay, you don't need to respond. I can have a big bubble around me, an air bubble. This is the armor of God too. And you hear people say, oh, you make me angry, or you make me. And that's not really the truth, because somebody can be disrespectful, which is not acceptable, but they don't make you that way. So you got to be able to have this bubble around you that protects you and says, okay, I hear it, I see it, but I'm not going to respond to it. And I think, it was almost last night like it was his father talking to me on the phone, almost like his phone was given to him to say something to me. That's how it was. Who knows if that's happening, but I think he did probably have a conversation with him, or he's remembering things that were said. So, I think when my husband pushed me in my defense, because he had said some rotten things to me, in my defense, and I do talk with my hands, I was like, da 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 da, so, I could have probably just, been like, I think I'm going to walk away and not respond. I probably should have done that. So, but I felt I had to defend myself. And so I'm seeing it, and I think the difference now with a different tool is where, my mother, and I never were able to, up to this point, straighten things out. I don't want to be that kind of parent where it goes on and on and on and nothing's ever straightened out. So when you have the disrespect and you have the bad communication, you cannot solve anything. So I did hear what my son was trying to say today through the disrespect and thinking about things and trying to solve it. So you just can't solve things if the communication isn't good. You want real good communication in all your relationships so that you can solve things. And so, I mean, yesterday I have this mini coaching that I listen to every day on different things in my life. So yesterday someone had said, "What are the priorities in your life?" And for me, it's always been my family more than work. It's always been my family, relationships. I'm super relationship centered. So, she was like, we have two plates in our lives. We have the glass plates and we have the paper plates. So the paper plates you can drop in life and nothing happens, right? They don't break. You break a glass plate and it shatters, right? So same thing. I was thinking about what she said, and she was saying those glass plates in our life are our relationships, our spouse first, which had always been my husband first over my children, up until now where I had to make sure my kids were safe and had housing, etc. Um, and that's with limits, my husband first. It's not like with my mother, like, oh, your dad's the boss and anything that he says or does is okay. No, no, there's accountability for him too. So, so those glass plates are the relationships, your spouse and your children. And that's kind of always been my priority and focus. Because once those plates drop, those plates, they do shatter, and it's very difficult to get back into a good relationship once it starts going down. So you want, once it starts going south, you want to be able to pick it up and be able to bring solutions, healing, apologies, whatever needs to be done. And God's word says, as much as depends on you, live at peace with people. So you got to work at it. Relationships, my husband thought relationships don't need work. And I would tell him, yeah, some stuff comes natural. There's natural chemistry at first, but it does take work to keep your relationship healthy. There's no relationship I know of that does not take work. So it's just a fact of life. And so to wrap this up, as a mother, I definitely think my son needed to get laid into yesterday, definitely, because I have been very patient. Unconditional love's been there, but now it's, I will continue to show love to you, but I will not be supporting, again, this lifestyle. I will not be engaging in these kind of conversations, and I will not allow you to disrespect your mother. So I will continue showing love, but I will not. It's a natural boundary. It's a natural pulling back, watching yourself, because all it does is take one misstep in life, right? One misstep and your whole life can fall apart just by one misstep. So we want to stay very close to God. We want to watch our ways. That is a huge, huge responsibility for a woman in the home. Proverbs 31 woman, she watches her ways. We want to watch our ways, okay? So, and I was even thinking back about the disrespect I felt in many jobs at times. I'm a good worker, hard worker, reputation as a hard worker, good girl. My Aunt Linda on my dad's side always used to say, make sure you're good to your parents. Make sure you're good. Make sure you are a good girl today. I mean, that was kind of drilled in me. But when I had over at one restaurant this girl just trying to control me, that was another trigger. I'm just like, why is it do you think that you can mess with me? Why do you think you can mess with me? And another lady harassing me, a couple other ladies harassing me. I just do not put up with that control and stuff. So seeing it and being able to be like, okay, how can you do this better, Melissa? So this is what I'm talking about. A lot of us in life are running a race. God says we're in a race, and it's like a prize. You're running in the Christian race to do the best that you can, and there's only one winner in a race, right? So this is why we have to work so hard at our Christian walk to live a strong Christian life. There's no room for laziness. There's no room for indifference. There's no room for apathy or anything when you're running the Christian life. And, like this job that I'm being offered, I got a job starting next week, couple days, And then I have another interview last night. I was contacted, another interview today. And those are two crappy jobs I'm willing to take. And then I will be working on this big job. But this big job, he's like, you're talking a 14-hour day, 14 hours. So this is just a job that's going to take a ton of work from me, a ton of effort, ton of studying, which I can handle. Never mind, this is just a job. Now think of your Christian life, how much more we have to put in effort into our Christian life. It's like military terms, you got to work at it, and you got to put yourself under God, and you got to work at your life. Okay, thanks for joining me, guys.